Hey y'all, this is Stephanie back with Katori Freya, or Spinstress in the Making technically, and I am going to be starting with block 17, the piece block for the Sewcialites. So I'll be doing the 9-inch block, and we will be starting off with our background fabric, which you need 2 4-inch blocks and 1 3.5-inch block here. And then on this side it's a little hard, it's like a cream color with some nice little blue floral patterns and all that good stuff. This one is my print, and it will be 2 4-inch blocks, 2 4-inch blocks, and 4 3.5-inch blocks. So for the ones that we were beginning with, we're going to be starting off with our 4-inch blocks, and so with my background fabric, I've already drawn a line on the back, diagonal to diagonal, to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance on both of these sides when we pair it up with our print block. So I'm going to lay them out good sides together, just making sure, and then just popping them straight on top of each other. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this line, on either side of the line technically. And once I've sewn those and pressed them towards my slightly darker fabric, I'll come back to you. And then once they've been sewn, you also just cut straight on that line. So you're going to get 4 blocks at the end of this that are going to be trimmed down to 3.5 inches. So I'll come back to you when I've done that. Alright, so we are back. And I have my 4 blocks that are now 3.5 inches. I press towards the print side of my fabric on here. And if you're wondering how to trim blocks, usually what I do is if there's a nice diagonal on it, I have a board that has a nice diagonal line down by the inches and 1/2 inches and actually 1/4 inches. So then I would line it up to make sure that that diagonal piece line is corresponding with the line on my ruler. And then I measure it up as best as I can to 3.5, trim off the edges, turn it all the way around like this, put it back on, get it to 3.5, and then cut again, just to make sure that my blocks are nice and square. So now that I have those, we can actually lay out this block. So we're going to start off with our center block, which is our background 3.5 inch square, which is a nice light white with the blue pattern on it. And then I'm going to take my 4 3.5 inch blocks of my print and put them out, and they're going to go like a T or like a plus sign around my center block, like this. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. Okay, and then once those are put out, then we're going to take our half pieces. So with this one, we're going to have our background fabrics with the L towards our print block, like this. And then the next one will have the print fabric doing a 90-degree angle on this side of your print block. So it's going to be looking like that. And then the next one, my background fabric on this side will be over here on this side. And I promise, trying to like shade it a little bit, you can kind of see it, but I'll get a picture of this at the top when this is all done. And for the last one, we're having the background fabric butting up against our middle fabric here. So you want your diagonals to be pointing in like this. So now that we have this all lined up, I'll be sewing these seams first, and then folding down and sewing these together. So I will probably be ironing in towards this fabric and ironing out towards my background fabrics on these. So out here, in seams this way, seams in this way. So I'll get back to you once I've sewn these 3, and then we will fold it down and do a 1/4 inch seam allowance across the top. Alright, so I now have my 3 pieces sewn together, and on the top blocks I have them in towards my main print block, and then on the middle block that has my background in the middle, it is pressed out towards my prints. and then the bottom one is the same as the top, being pressed in towards my print block. So that way when I have these points meet together, they'll make a nice point. So with this, we're going to fold it over on the top, lock in those points together with 1/4 inch seam allowance here. Press it open probably, and then down at the bottom, once that's done, this will then get folded down like this onto this one with a 1/4 inch seam allowance across, fitting those points very nicely. So I will come back to you with the finished block. Alright, so that is the end of the number 17 piece block for the Sewcialites. You can see the color a little bit better. For some odd reason my camera's having a hard time with the lights being off and on. It's going back and forth with what shade it's supposed to be at. I'm sorry about that. But you can see the pattern a little bit better now because of it. So there you go. And for the back, I ironed it open seamed. So sorry again about the crazy spastic flashing back and forth between different colors. Overall, it's a pretty nice block. Unfortunately, I'm running out of dark contrast fabrics to do my blocks with, so now I have to try and find something that will kind of hopefully display once the quilt's completely put together. If this video was helpful for your construction, please like and subscribe so I can create more videos for you guys. And tomorrow, or the next video I should say, is going to be the Hearty block, which is number 18. And for that one, I'm actually going to use 3 different fabrics because since it's kind of close to Valentine's Day, I think they have a heart in it for that theme. And I am going to change the heart color. So look forward to seeing that. Thanks all.